I came for the party to get naughty, get my rocks on, eat popcorn, watch you move your body.
What's up? What's up, Chef?
How you doing?
Good, good. Listen, thank you for being on the show. And want to talk to you a little about yourself. Tell me how you've been doing during this pandemic.
I've been doing pretty good. You know, kind of had to change gears a little bit from what we were doing. I run two businesses. I would say we run a meal prep service where we do prepared meals where, you know, it's traditional macro count, healthy breakdown, you know, exactly what you want. You know, you want it portioned to, you know, 4 ounces, 6 ounces. We can take care of that. But we also, you know, run a full scale catering company where, you know, we were doing large events before the pandemic, you know, and since then now we've had to, you know, we've changed things to a lot more intimate settings where, you know, those parties are now, you know, 10 people, 15, you know, certain counties will allow a little bit more. I'm in the Bay Area, so we've been, you know, pretty locked down on COVID. So all our events have been pretty small, but we've been doing okay.
No, and I think it's good that you got the meal prep, you know, you're a fit chef, right? And we'll get into that. And then you have the full blown catering. People have to have options. And I think that's where the future is headed. Before you got into this, let's talk about how you transitioned. Like, what was your passion for food? At what age, and how did you start the business?
I would say passion for food, just, you know, I was eating out all the time, you know, always loving a good restaurant. You know, when Yelp came out, you know, we were all over Yelp looking at what was good to eat, you know, watching things on Food Network, you know, traveling. You know, it stemmed a lot more from traveling, you know, and eating at the best restaurants. You know, when we'd go to, you know, Chicago, we went to Las Vegas. You know, I've been all over the United States and, you know, always want to eat at the best places, you know, and that was, you know, in my early 20s. I didn't go to culinary school until I was 28 years old. So, you know, it was a bit of time, you know, in between, you know, traveling and being an adult to that transition into just, you know, now wanting to make the best dishes I've ever eaten. You know, I wanted to recreate those dishes in my own kitchen, and that's kind of where it all started.
I think it's unique because one, you learn so much more from traveling, and you realize now what you learned in culinary school is the basics, but now it's easier to learn when you go to another town, go to a restaurant, and you try that dish. It's an art. It's a fulfillment. But when did you say, I want to do it for a living? Because you love the food, you love the travel. When did you say, I'm going to go in the kitchen, I get paid what I do, but now I want to go into catering. Now I want to do meal preps, because that's that business mindset.
So it wasn't immediately after culinary school. It was an odd transition. So I actually went and ended up working for a chain restaurant, a really big chain restaurant that I'll leave unnamed. But it was very fulfilling to do that. You know, I didn't get paid a lot, you know, but they were doing so much volume that it was just fun to be in that setting, to be like, you know, I want to do this for myself one day. You know, I was always ambitious to want to do things for myself. You know, I always had the entrepreneurial spirit to, you know, want to be my own boss and work for my own self and log my own hours and, you know, sweat equity and, you know, those kind of things. So, you know, being behind the scenes, just working on the line, it was enjoyable, and having other people and, you know, learning the camaraderie of, you know, having a teamwork and things like that. Because in culinary school, we didn't learn any of that. You know, we didn't, you don't get that aspect of cooking. You know, you don't
get that pressure, that execution, the customer sending food back, someone jacking it up. It's real life experience. And I like what you said. You worked at a big chain restaurant. It wasn't about the name, but it was about the high volume. Because I interview chefs I interview chefs with no culinary experience that have a restaurant empire. I interview chefs who are chasing the Michelin. I interview young chefs of color who only work at Michelin restaurants, chef de cuisines, because they're beefing up their resume. And then chefs like you, entrepreneurship, sweat equity, that said, hey, I started my business mindset sooner than other chefs, because some chefs peak up, because I get it. They want to learn as much as they can, and they'll even move countries, you know, which I admire, and I live vicariously through them. But I'm like you, I'm from the Bay, you know, and you just have to get out there, because I think the food industry has changed. I think now it's not if you're a chef, if you can wear the tall hat, it's if people will pay for your product.
That is a very good point. That and me and my wife talk about things like that all the time, and what kind of food we wanted to do, and when we started catering and we started doing pop-ups and we started doing things like that, it was more so what what's true to us, or the things that we like to eat, what are we going to share with everybody else. You just said you're from the Bay Area, and I do garlic noodles, and I definitely pay homage to thang longs and crustaceans. Those are
Yeah,
those.
that's what caught me on at first, because I always search for dope chefs. I've always told people I look for the dopest chefs that if you were to look up top chefs in the Bay, none of our names would pop up.
Right.
Because I'm always for the underdog, because in this industry, it's not about where you went, it's about what you can execute. So we grew up in the Bay, and so we're very fortunate to have so many different culinary flavors at our disposal. Where did you grow up in the Bay?
I'm from San Jose.
Okay, so there you go. So you're from San Jose, so you have a big Asian community out there, right?
Oh yeah.
I grew up in Concord, Pittsburgh area. So
Yeah.
there's everybody has its own neighborhood. Then you got Berkeley, you got Oakland, you got Napa, you got San Francisco, and even San Francisco's got some different neighborhoods. So that's good. And so how long you been doing the catering company?
So we're in our 4th year of the catering. So we launched the meal prep, kind of simultaneously at the same time. They kind of blew up together. It really started
smart.
with.
I think it's smart, because I think people are now are health fit conscious,
Yes.
and then you got the full blown, which is the mass market. So I think that was very smart. I think for our viewers, I want them to see that, hey, if you're going to go into the food business, look what Chef Tristan did. He went meal prep, macro healthy, because you're a fit chef, and then all of a sudden
Most
the
definitely.
big party catering, 300, 400 person turnovers. So talk to us about the meal prep. Is that a booming industry, given the fact that COVID has changed it, given the fact that mental awareness, mental health, and fitness has become important? Has that hit your bottom line? Have you seen the promise of that?
Yeah. Oh, most definite. So I think the transition, to people in meal prep service were, everybody wanted to live the fit lifestyle. Not a lot of people have a lot of time. It does take a lot of time to cook that much food. People are asking for 20, 30 meals. That's hours in the kitchen. The average person, when I was working a corporate job, I enjoyed cooking, so it wasn't a big deal for me to come home after working a long day and want to come home, get in the kitchen, and spend another hour and a half in the kitchen making dinner. It was an enjoyable thing for me to do. That's not everybody else's main goal when they get off of work. That was my passion. Even when I had a corporate job, it was always cooking. Fast forwarding now to pandemic times, people are at home and they're working. They're not at home not doing anything. They're still at home, and they're still busy. Just because they're not commuting, it didn't change the fact that they don't have hours to spend in the kitchen. And DoorDash is only going to take you so far. And
oh yeah, no doubt. No. Listen, we know that, right? They can go out there and they're passionate. They'll go buy all the ingredients. They make like 1 or 2 servings. They got all the leftovers of the ingredients. What the hell are they gonna do with the ingredients that are left over? Correct. So let me ask you this:
right.
You cook right there in the house, or you got a commercial kitchen?
Commercial kitchen.
Okay. No. I think that's good to know, because I want people to be inspired. Like, even like you said, we're at home because the pandemic we're working remote, but we're still working. So people can still start thinking about how to set up a catering business properly, how to set up a meal prep properly. Because, obviously the platform we're connected on is where I want to showcase and elevate the business part of it by having people look like you and I. Dope cooks, dope chefs, unique dishes, winemakers, and music all under one roof. So I want to have our viewers say, you know what, I want to be like you, and they can learn from you. So has it gone well, the meal prep?
Oh yeah, meal prep's gone well. The private events has really been what's been the biggest thing that changed for me during this pandemic time. It has blown up, the most, and in more ways than I thought it would. It's more so what I enjoy doing. the aspect of being able to cook in somebody else's home and they get to eat your food hot right off the stove, you know, fresh. I get to plate it for them. You know, they get to just sit back, relax. I think it makes the food taste better personally.
Oh,
I
no
think if
doubt.
somebody brings, you
Go
know,
ahead.
it just removes that aspect of, you know, time in a box and, you know, your food's moving around. You know, we're all experiencing eating out from time to time. Even as chefs, we still eat out from time to time. You
Yeah.
know, your food loses a little bit, you know, in travel, you know, even when you don't want it to. So the in-home experience, you know, I tell anybody who's out there, book a chef, you know, book myself, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, have
Well,
that experience.
it's the behind the dish. When you give me the garlic noodles, watching you make it, the aromas and the conversion of the ingredients, it's like no other, you know. And the other thing you might want to think about is the Zoom cook-alongs, you know, the meal preps, the cooking that, you know, you order from me, or you used to order from me. Now you can buy the ingredients, pay you can Zoom teach with them, you know. I've done some Zoom cook-alongs with some winemakers where they'll buy the package. I'll give them the list of ingredients. They'll go buy it, and then they cook along with me and the winemaker. You know, and we could talk about that. So let's fast forward this. Let me ask you this: where do you want to be as a business in 3 years?
3 years, I see owning multiple food trucks potentially. You know, wanting to be in more locations than one, wanting to be mobile. You know, I don't really see myself wanting to brick and mortar right away. I'd
Yeah.
rather be able to service different communities. You know, I have personally have family in Concord and in Pittsburgh, and you know, I want to go to them and I want to service, you know, those places. I think that's where things are going. I think mobile food is where things are going.
Mobile, fast casual products they can buy to make at home, and you don't have that big liability of a brick and mortar. That industry, that pre-COVID, is not going to come back for a long time. You got big restaurants that cannot reconcept themselves, and they're in 15-year leases with $1 million build out. You imagine the stress of that? That ruins families. I like what you're saying. You want to have multiple food trucks, your meal prep business go up 30, 40%, and you're probably going to create a product line. You know, you're going to create a product line because people are consumer direct. When they have a connection to you, it makes it that even better because let's face it, you can have you and 15 other chefs cook a blind taste test, and there's still no certainty that you're going to get 90%. But if people feel a connection to you and your lifestyle and what you stand for, then you build that brand loyalty, you know? So let me touch a little bit on that because you kind of say you're a fit chef. If someone wants to lose 15 pounds over the next 6 months, what would you recommend for them? Eating wise,
Well,
not working out, eating wise.
first we would do an evaluation, you know, on your health. You know, that's first things first. So, you know, ask your doctor what's okay with you, you know, what fits in the parameters of dieting. You know, it's different things. You know, everybody wants to do keto. Some people are diabetic. Keto is not necessarily the best move for you.
Yep.
Meaning that if you're a diabetic, you need a certain amount of carbs to sustain your insulin levels, you know, so keto's not for you. Not everybody knows that going into it. So, you know, those are things that, you know, we need to know. If not, you know, keto is the trendy thing. It works. It is very effective. You know, it's not everybody's favorite diet, but also a lot of carb cycling is effective, you know, meaning where we people are so dependent upon, you know, I say myself, you know, I grew up eating rice every meal pretty much. You know, we didn't eat it because it was the most nutritious thing. We ate it because it was filler, you know, and you being of Asian, you know, community yourself, I'm sure
I'm,
you ate a lot of rice growing up, a lot of
I'm, I'm
noodles.
half Asian, half Latino. So when the doctors were telling me not to eat rice, I was like, "Are you a racist?" Because that's what
Right.
we.
It's almost offensive because
Yeah.
you know you've used it to fill out your plate for so many years. You know, that's the number one thing that I have to get, you know, people to part with is rice. You know, believe it or not, it's telling somebody, you know, we're going to cut down on how much rice you can eat, you know, and you know, telling them that this is why you can have it here, you can have it there, but you know, it's really taking the time to explain to people, you know, why why we're doing what we're doing, you know, why you're eating the things you're eating, you know, making them understand that, you know, don't let a good week, you know, go to waste for a bad weekend, you know. And
Yeah.
you know,
I think what you're saying is moderation, knowing your body, knowing your lifestyle, and then you adjust. So your meal preps, you go on the healthy, you go on protein, you
oh
go on
yeah, definitely.
veggies, right? And I'm sure you,
Carbohydrates.
yeah, some good carbohydrates. So I think that's the best way. I think people think they can lose weight quick. That's not. You don't want to go on a diet. You want to go on a lifestyle shift. You know?
You want to be able to sustain it. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to go on, if you want to go on a vacation, you want to go on a crash diet, you want to lose, you know, 10, 15 pounds in 3 weeks, you know, yes, you know, it's been done. You can do it, but you're more than likely going to come back from that vacation. You
Yeah.
know, you're going to bring those 15 pounds back with you, along with the luggage, souvenirs, and anything else that you know, you wanted to.
And what it does for your mental, it just jacks you up. You know, that's the mental. That's why sometimes if you just understand it's a lifestyle shift and you don't expect quick results because you're shifting and you're seeing the results over long term. I could eat half a pizza. You know, my girlfriend loves pizza. I could eat half a pizza. I won't feel as bad because I know that it's not as bad because I don't eat like that every day, you know.
Right.
And then I go back on track, my cardio and my core. Anyways, all right, so let's have some fun shit, some fun questions, all right? The day the world is ending, what is the last meal on earth you want to have?
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken? Okay, good.
I'm
Where's the
for
best
that.
fried chicken you've had?
My kitchen.
Okay, I like that. Your pet peeves in the business?
Cold food.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm pissed because that's almost disrespectful when you're at a restaurant, you order it, and it comes back warm, which is technically cold. That means it sat there, and there was a lack of service. Okay, pet peeves.
Well, you know what? To answer that question, I'll say timing. I'm a big fan of when I go to a restaurant and everybody's food comes out at the same time and everybody can eat and everybody can enjoy everything. That timing, you know, if I were to say in the industry,
Mhm.
it's timing.
Got
Everybody being able to eat at the same time, you know, getting everybody's orders right, those kind of things. Those
I
are the
like
things
it. Pet peeves in society.
you spoke on it already. Hypocrisy.
Hmm.
You know,
I like it.
don't you know, I sometimes it's hard for me to, you know, live on both sides of things. I do health food, and then on the next thing, you know, I post a picture and I got garlic noodles and crab and, you know, a quarter pound of butter. But like you said, moderation. You know, I don't even cook like that every day. You know, on the day in and day out, I run the meal prep service. That's what we do every day. You know, so you know, I do feel like a hypocrite sometimes, but I'm just a chef. You know, I love making good food. You know, I had to eat like that to, you know, achieve the things I did. You know, I do come from a background of competitive bodybuilding. So,
Yeah.
you know, it really started by being able to say, you know, you practice what you preach. You know, I really did eat the food that I cooked, you know, to get the results, you know, and those and obtain the goals that I obtained in the fitness industry.
Yeah, no, listen, it's not hypocrisy, and you know it's not, but I know how you feel because sometimes, you know, when I eat the stuff that I love to eat, which is once every, 10 days, 12 days, but at the end of the day, we're not saying only eat what we show you. It's like moderation, it's a lifestyle. You're working out. And, my last meal shouldn't be a kale salad, anyways, you know?
No, definitely not.
All right.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. So you must be on keto right now.
No, no, I don't believe in that stuff. Like what you said earlier, you got to know your body. You know,
Right.
I run 2 miles a day, not because I like fitness. For me, at my age, I'm 45, even though I look younger.
Oh,
I
definitely.
I need to clear my mind, and that cardio clears my mind, and it gets my heart rate up for me to mentally feel like I did something. Because if I don't do what I want to do throughout my work day, then I have lost control of my life. Now, because I run every day, I just happen to be fit. I've lost 35 pounds. Back to your question, I do low carbs and I
Okay.
enjoy my fried rice once every 10 days or my white rice with oxtail. But hey, salad a day, uh, you know, protein at night with dinner, with veggies, you know, and you know, my weakness is a good pizza, you know, but I don't have that every week, you know. So no, not on keto, but I definitely a low carb and low sugar. Luckily, I don't have a sweet tooth, so I'm a low carb, low sugar lifestyle. But don't get me wrong, I cannot. When I see rice and beans, I'm gonna eat it. You know, I see fried rice, I'm gonna eat it. But it'll, you know, my cousins make fun of me. They're like, "Yo, why are you eating that last?" Because I'd rather eat all the meat first, and then I only eat the rice when I'm full. Because if I eat rice in the beginning, I fucked up everything else, you know.
Right.
But
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
and so I'm glad you asked that question. But no, I am not a fit person like you. For those reasons, I give you that you are on that 5%. You know, I am just very active because mentally, the physicality part of it clears my brain, and the result is, of course, you know, I don't be 35 pounds heavier like I used to be. All right, Pet Peeves of Society. You said hypocrisy. Did you vote this past election?
I did.
Okay, good. I always ask people that we talk about food, we talk about wine, and we talk about voting, not who we voted for, but that we voted, because I want everyone to see that we're contributing to society in every aspect. You're married, you got a family, you got businesses, you have a mind besides your career. And so that's good that you voted, because I think voting is not just for the national election, but locally, because that impacts our businesses and impacts our lives and the future of our families, you know? Okay,
Definitely.
so you like the fried chickens, your last meal on earth, person dead or alive, who would you like to have dinner with?
That's a good question. Um,
Yeah, this isn't your typical interview.
that was a good one. That threw me for a curve right there. Dead or alive, that I would want to. I've always said one person who I wanted to cook for when I heard that they like fried chicken was JayZ. So it'd have to be JayZ. Um, we growing up, you know, I do have a lot of family members that passed away, and you know, we had so many family dinners together that I did get to cook those meals. So I don't cherish those. You know, I wouldn't bring them back to cook them one more. But alive right now would be JayZ. That would be the
Okay,
person I'd want.
let me tell you, we have a lot more in common than you think, because JayZ is basically the person I aspire to be like that. Obviously, I look up to my father, but
Of
JayZ,
course.
because of what he's done for not just what he's done for himself through the arts, but how he's made it into business, and now he's transforming into, you know, not, I don't want to say activist. I think he's transforming himself for the culture,
Right.
you know. And I like that. I think when he said he can walk into any room as himself, he doesn't have to be like you and I, where we have to dress up for potentially an interview with an executive or a sponsor or a venture capitalist in a suit or something different. And I think that's the pinnacle of what people like you and I and our viewers want to strive for, is that be yourself. And we don't
Right.
have to be JayZ money, but be yourself. And that means that your meal prep is killing it, making good revenue. Your catering's doing good revenue for the businesses, and then you've got the truck, you know, and then you're happy with your family, and you can take time off whenever you want. You're overseeing versus working the line, and that is when you can be yourself and anybody, because now people are going to come to you and say, "Hey, I love your product. I want to propose to you a product," because that's going to happen to you. It happened to me, you know. So I like that. JayZ. And what conversation would you have with JayZ?
Sports. I mean,
Yeah,
I think the guy likes sports just as much as I do. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a big sports guy. You know,
yeah.
I've had the pleasure for cooking for some of my favorite athletes, you know, alive already. Just, you know, and food has taken me places that I never thought it would take me, you know, and it's going to continue to take me places that, you know, I never thought I would be, and I appreciate it because, you know, not everybody gets to wake up, you know, and love what they do, you know, and I really love what I do. I love,
Yeah.
you know, cooking for the people I cook for. I love, you know, I love everything about it. I love, you know, the messages I get, you know, I love the, you know, when my friends share, and, you know, people that aren't my friends, my Instagram friends, you know, and those people, you know, when they're like, hey, you know, I just heard your food was good, you know, I'm like, did you taste my food yet? You know, they're like, no, I just heard it was good, you know, and who'd you hear from? And, you know, such and such. And it's, you know, people that I've only met one time, you know. So that's
fulfilling.
that's the beauty of social media right now, and you know where we're at. It's really, you know, taking advantage and meeting you on there. You know, it's really been, you know, advantageous, you know, in
Yeah.
this pandemic.
Well, I can't wait to try your food, bro. So I'll tell you what, it looks good because I'm pretty strict anyways as far as food, because I can cook too, you know, just like you are. And I can't wait to try your food. What's your favorite, who's that cool athlete you cook for that you liked?
So I had the pleasure of cooking for Steven Jackson, you know, our former Warrior player, a while back. And, you know, it was
the We Believe team, man, right?
the We Believe team, you know, not even a Warrior fan, but the We Believe, that's as Bay Area as it gets right there. I mean, if you weren't a part of that, I don't even believe you're really from the Bay. You didn't have to be a Warriors fan to be in on that one. So
nah, it was even before that with TMC. We didn't even call it TMC. We just called it Chris Mullen, Hardaway, you know, Manute Bol days, O'Donnell Flo. You know, O'Donnell's one of my friends, so shout out to O'Donnell and Matt. He's one of my friends, so shout out to them. So that's cool cooking for Jax, man. And baseball, you're wearing a baseball hat. Who's your favorite baseball team?
I'm a Giants fan, but grew up a Bulls fan in basketball. So that was.
Listen, if you didn't grow up a Bulls fan because of the GOAT, Michael Jordan, then you're not normal. And of course, thank God you said Giants fan because I'm a big Giants fan. Can't stand Oakland teams. I'm glad the Warriors moved to San Francisco, you know. Niner fan. But anyways, man, listen, Chef, it's been an honor hanging out with you on the Zoom. And I look forward to connecting with you in person. I wish you much success. And we're going to interview you next time, like maybe 3 months later. Check out the update post-Rona, how the business is going. Anything we can do to support you. But thank you for your knowledge today, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the interview, brother.
All right, my man. Be good.
Singing, ding-a-linging, funky beats ringing, everybody swinging in the place.